ذلك بإعلان معالي المستشار الجليل بولس فهمي اسكندر رئيس
by
المحكمة
announcing
الدستورية العليا عن توصيات
the Counselor Bolis Fahmi Iskander as the head of the Supreme Court. Kindly take the floor. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I'd like to announce the onset of the high-level Cairo meeting, 9th edition, for the heads of the Constitutional Court, Supreme Councils, and the African Constitutional Councils on February 8th. 2026. We met in the new administrative capital on February 7 and 8 of 2026 in the framework of Cairo's 9 meeting, high-level meeting for the heads of the constitutional courts, supreme councils, and constitutional African councils, based on our belief that this meeting is one of the most important continental judicial meetings and gatherings to exchange experience and to enrich discussions, as well as supporting the basis for fruitful discussions between African judges. It has become an international gathering that allows them to consult with their peers of the international judges and legal experts on very important matters facing the judicial systems worldwide. Based on our recognition that work and communication between African judicial entities is the best and the most optimum way to achieve the goals and aspirations of the African peoples, keening on linking the mutual judicial ties inside and outside Africa to take the necessary measures so we can maintain the constitutional pillars upon which judicial systems are based, and to cope up with the latest developments in our framework, in which we seek the establishment of justice principles, recognizing that the independence and the integrity of judicial system is one of the most important pillars for the democratic modern states, and that it is an international commitment imposed by international agreements and internationally recognized. We totally agree that judges play a very important role in establishing the principles of human rights and human freedom. We know that to guarantee the rule of law, we need a fast confrontation for and removal for all the obstacles in front of the judicial services. We do recognize that the technological and the digital developments, especially artificial intelligence and its relevant applications, have created multiple fields for improving the work of the justice systems, in addition to the accompanying different challenges and problems that should be faced and that need sustainable solutions. Recalling the work of our previous meetings and scientific research papers submitted within, and the important discussions that took place, we confirm on the following recommendations, on the issued recommendations, expressing our appreciation to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of Egypt, for his auspices to this very important meeting and his support to continue holding this meeting regularly. This reflects his keenness on the mutual and ongoing cooperation between African judicial systems to guarantee their independence and their constitutional role to serve the African continent. We would like to announce the following. First, providing the legal and constitutional protection for rights and responsibilities and freedoms. This can only be achieved by independent judicial system. All state institutions have to abide by this independence and defend it. The independence of judicial system is a human right. Humans should have normal judges and legal, fair, and equitable court sessions, and they need also to have the equivalent legal protection. Third, the core of independence of judicial systems is the work of the courts, which is working in all the disputes with full justice, away from any pressure, challenges, or interventions, regardless of their reasons. Fourth, the independence of judicial systems is closely linked to the transparency of the judicial procedures in a manner that wouldn't affect the general systems and general ethics. The independence of judicial systems abide the members to avoid any political or media activities. The independence of judicial systems requires selecting, hiring, and promoting the judges according to well-established judicial principles based on efficiency, integrity, experience, and neutrality, with no distinction or discrimination based on race, color, gender, religion, or any form of unjustified discrimination. Seventh, judges cannot be terminated, and they have the guarantee to stay in their jobs until they reach the age of retirement or the end of the period for the reasons set forth by the law and the Constitution. They cannot be terminated unless for disciplinary measurement. These measurements have to be independent and fair, conducted only by judges. The judicial authority only has the mandate to work on the dispute of a judicial nature. It solely has the authority to work on the matters related to its mandate according to the law and Constitution. It's responsible for assigning the lawsuits to the judges, and the sentences are not subject to any criticism by any other authority. The independence of the judicial systems requires the necessary resources in a manner guaranteeing that they will play their role in a good way, including providing the necessary facilities and buildings to provide the judicial services to individuals. The state is responsible for achieving the necessary financial independence for the judicial authorities. Number 10, we confirm on the regular training for judges, especially on the developed legal matters, to guarantee that the judicial system is independent and plays its constitutional role. In this regard, we would like to highlight the importance of international training in international cooperation in training and capacity building. The slow judicial procedures, the increased number of lawsuits, and the delay in issuing sentences is one of the obstacles in front of the justice systems. It affects the legal security and the stability of social affairs, which makes it necessary to take the needed measurements to confront these issues in a manner that wouldn't affect the balance between the quality of judicial work on one hand and the accelerated finalization of issues or lawsuits on the other hand. That's why we need to update the consultation systems and the internal committees and to study all the judicial regulating procedures related to filing lawsuits and their referral. Number 12, facilitated equitable judicial procedures create an environment that achieves sustainable social and economic development. It also supports the rule of law, and it maintains the public security in addition to protecting human rights and freedoms. Number 13, the relevance of legislations and the motives are the responsibility of the legislative authority. The judicial authority should not interfere in this regard unless the law states otherwise. The judicial supervision does not extend to reach the sovereignty actions, including the political work. Number 14, this announcement plays a vital role in addressing the public opinion, including the dissemination of news and expressing all the different aspects of thinking. Media has to respect the independence of the judicial system and its sentences. They have to avoid any attempts for direct or indirect attempts regarding affecting the lawsuits. Number 15, you would like to confirm on the huge effect of the digital development on societies. These developments achieve development. That's why it's necessary to provide a safe cyber and digital environment supported by legislations and policies coping up with these developments, side by side with the executive frameworks and measurements to maintain the national security, public system, general ethics, protecting the rights and freedoms of individuals, especially in the field of protecting personal data. Number 16, the judicial authorities benefiting from the digital advancement is a necessity to provide safe, facilitated and effective judicial services. 17, depending on artificial intelligence mechanisms and applications in our judicial authorities as an auxiliary and complementary means for the judicial work, it remains no alternative for the human factor, and it has to be under full supervision of the members of the judicial authorities. Now, 18, transparency, protecting right to privacy and protection of personal data and not exposing and jeoparding the rights and freedoms of individuals is one of the most important principles that should be taken into consideration while depending on the new technology, on top of it the artificial intelligence. 19, the challenges related to depending on digital and IT development in the judicial action or work requires agreeing on mutual principles and criteria. In this regard, we should benefit from the international experiences in the drafting and development of measurements and national policies, and to avoid the negative impacts of these experiences. 20, developing legal and executive frameworks in dealing with the digital development is necessary to strike a balance between benefiting from them and respecting the rules of transparency, accountability, justice and protection of individuals' rights and freedoms. 21, the ongoing capacity building of judicial authorities in Africa to cope up with the digital development requires working on the infrastructure, including the digital applications, including artificial intelligence in judicial work, must be gradual, and it has to be phased in, and each phase requires studies and research on their impact on the justice system. 23rd, we do welcome and praise the works of the African Research and Studies Center and the judicial system. In the past year, we recommend the ongoing cooperation with the center, and depending on the scientific activities and research papers, especially conducted by judges training programs. 24th, we recommend taking necessary measures to combat corruption and to guarantee the neutrality and integrity of judicial work, to enhance confidence and trust in judicial institutions. This is one of the main criteria achieving the independence of the judicial system. Finally, we would like to express our deep thanking for the leadership and the people of the Arab Republic of Egypt for the kind hospitality and the support given to this meeting. We determine to continue our efforts aiming to achieve all the recommendations of this declaration and the previous declarations from Cairo meetings. Together we will work on achieving the aspirations and the hopes of our African peoples. The best conclusion of this meeting is to move today to see firsthand an establishment in the new republic, which is the Justice City, that includes the new premises of the Constitutional Court of Egypt and other judicial entities and courts. So we'd like to congratulate ourselves for this great establishment. By this we conclude the work of the 9th edition of the high-level meeting for the heads of constitutional courts, supreme councils and constitutional councils of Africa. May God save you. May peace and blessings of God be upon you. Deep thanks and appreciation to the Councillor Boulos Fahmy Iskander, the head of the Supreme Constitutional Court. This meeting that started here in Egypt, the 9th edition of Cairo high-level meeting for the Constitutional Court, Supreme Councils and the Constitutional Councils of Africa. We would like to turn what we have agreed upon into a reality, enhances trust in the judicial system, maintaining constitutions and creating the best future for Africa. In the conclusion, Egypt will always remain a bridge for cooperation and a real witness that Africa can do many things by its will and can create tomorrow that's suitable for its peoples. Thank you so much, and you're always welcome in Egypt.